In a quiet desert village called Nurabad, the moon always seemed closer than dreams. A 13-year-old girl named Chandney lived with her grandmother in a small clay house. Her name meant moonlight, and just like her name, she was curious, kind, and full of quiet wonder. Every night, Chandney sat by the old window in her room, cracked, wooden, and facing the vast sky, and talked to the moon. Villagers often teased her. "The moon won't answer you, silly girl." But Chandney believed the moon listened, and one day, it might even speak back. One night, the sky was unusually bright, the moon larger, glowing silver-white. Chandney leaned closer to her window, whispering, "If only I could see the world you see. Oh moon." Suddenly, a cold breeze swept through, carrying silver dust. From nowhere, a whispering voice filled the air. "Ask, and the window shall show." Chandney froze, her eyes wide. She saw a glowing key of moonlight hovering near her hand. The key slid into a tiny crack in the window and turned on its own click. The glass rippled like water. Beyond it, Chandney no longer saw her village. She saw another world glowing in silver light. Chandney gasped. The sky inside the window looked alive, rivers of light, floating stars, crystal towers. The window pulsed like a heartbeat. Fear and curiosity battled inside her heart. Finally, she whispered, "Maybe dreams are meant to be stepped into." She stepped through. The world changed. She found herself standing on a glowing bridge over a sea of clouds. Tiny glowing creatures, moonfire fairies fluttered around, whispering greetings. Chandney laughed in delight, spinning in slow motion as the music of the realm filled the air. But suddenly, the fairies scattered. From the mist appeared a tall, glowing figure, the guardian of the Jericho. His cloak rippled like smoke, and his eyes glowed like liquid silver. "Guardian," booming, "who dares cross the veil of the moon?" Chandney trembled but stood tall. The guardian studied her quietly. "Guardian, you are brave, little one. But this window does not show beauty freely. It shows truth." He waved his hand. The bright world vanished, replaced by Chandney's own village, seen through magical eyes. The fields were dry, the people tired, children hungry. "Guardian, you chase other worlds while yours fades in shadow." Chandney's heart sank. The guardian smiled faintly. Chandney woke up back in her room. The moonlight felt heavier, whispering secrets. Her first night's task had begun. Outside, she saw an old beggar woman sitting near the well, shivering under the cold moon. Chandney rushed inside, took her own shawl, the only one she had, and wrapped it around the woman. The woman smiled, eyes glowing faintly like silver. "Woman, softly. Kindness warms more than fire." When she vanished, a glowing spark hovered in the air, the first spark of magic. Chandney caught it gently, feeling its warmth flow through her heart. 2. The window's glow in her room brightened a little, 1/3 awake. The journey had begun. The second night, clouds covered the moon. Chandney sat by the window, wondering what her next test would be. A cry echoed outside. A boy's kite had flown to the top of the old temple spire. The villagers warned, "Don't go near it." But Chandney remembered the guardian's words. "Find the spark of courage." The wind howled, but she didn't stop. Halfway up, she slipped, hanging by a crack. Below, people gasped. She closed her eyes. With renewed strength, she climbed to the top, retrieved the kite, and raised it toward the moon. The kite's paper shimmered into silver fire, and the second spark floated out. Chandney descended safely, the crowd cheering. The Jericho in her room glowed brighter, now 2/3 alive. On the third night, the village faced despair. The river had dried, the well was empty, and people were losing hope. Chandney stood by the dried-up well, clutching her to glowing sparks. "How can I find faith?" she whispered, "when everyone has lost it?" The sky rumbled. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her memory. "Faith is not in seeing. Beta, it's in believing before you see." Chandney picked up a shovel and began digging near the old well. People laughed at first, but she kept digging. Her hands bled, her breath trembled, yet she didn't stop. Hours passed. Suddenly, a cool splash. Water burst from the ground, clear and sparkling. The villagers gasped, running to her side. As the water rose, the third spark emerged. glowing brightest of all. Chandney lifted it to the sky. That night, the window glowed brighter than ever, silver waves rippling across the room. The Guardian appeared again, his voice softer this time. Guardian, you have found all three sparks: kindness, courage, and faith. The sparks rose from Chandni's hands, merging into a radiant orb of pure light. The Jaraka opened fully, showing her village but transformed. The fields were green. Children laughed, elders smiled. Guardian, see Chandni. Chandni looked around, tears glistening. So the magic was inside me all along. The Guardian smiled. The window shimmered once more and slowly began to fade. Chandni pressed her hand to the glass. Thank you. The Guardian's final words echoed. When hearts forget their light, the Jaraka will call you again. Time passed. The village of Nurabad thrived again. Crops grew, rivers flowed, laughter returned. Chandni grew older, graceful, wise, and beloved by all. Children often visited her to hear stories about the magic window. One night, a little girl asked, Didi, did you really see fairies in the moon's world? Chandni smiled, looking out her old window. The moonlight fell on her face, gentle and warm. Maybe I did, she said softly. The little girl ran to the window, pressing her hand against the glass, too. For a brief moment, it shimmered faintly, as if remembering. Chandni smiled knowingly. Outside, the moon glowed brighter, and the faint sound of wind whispered again, Ask, and the window shall show. The legacy continued. The Jaraka waited for the next dreamer. Moral: magic is not always in spells or stars. Sometimes it lives in small acts of kindness, brave hearts, and unshaken faith. The real Jaraka is inside every heart that believes light can return, even after the darkest night.